Hi there, and welcome to LimitLyss, the space where your big dreams meet grounded energy and mastering manifestation becomes your new normal. I'm Alyssa Simpson, mindset and manifestation coach, your unorthodox free spirit, and now your newfound permission slip to do life your way. Here, we break the rules by ditching societal norms of the hustle and grind. We embrace flow, alignment, and the bold decision to follow what lights you the fuck up. In each episode, I'll be sharing soul downloads, mindset shifts, energetic upgrades, and raw, authentic stories to help you unlock your magnetism, collapse timelines, and create a life that feels as good as it looks. So if you're ready to remember who you are, trust your desires, embody your highest self, and manifest from your authentic power, it's time to sit back, relax, and get ready to become limitless. Hello. How are you? How the hell are you? It's Limitless Wednesday. Why isn't there a day of the week that starts with an L? We got to hit up the weekly founding fathers to discuss that one. But in the meantime, let's get into some juicy stuff today, y'all. I had to take notes because, as I have told you, I simply cannot just hop on and record like I want to. So I've got to jot down the things that I need to bring to the podcast and bring them to you when I have a moment. So I have a moment. Hi, we're here. Yes. Welcome. Okay. A few little housekeeping things, if you will. Private coaching spots are open for you to hop in and apply and step into a world where you have me in your back pocket to truly up level from where you are right now to where you desire to be. So you desire to have more. You desire to maybe take a little bit of a break, to step back, to not be so hustle forward, right? Like you might even desire to, I don't know, throw everything away that you thought you wanted and rebuild from the very beginning. Here's the thing. When you commit to yourself, when you actually decide to invest in yourself, the universe clocks that as you're putting your money where your mouth is, you mean business, and you start automatically opening doors to the things that it is that you desire. Opportunities land in your lap. Things that you couldn't have fathomed are now your reality. And that's not a coincidence, because whenever you shift your energy from just consuming things and trying to DIY your way into your next level, the universe doesn't fully deliver, because they're like, I see that you're playing pretend, right? Like you're playing house right now when you really could be actually living the house lifestyle. So instead of living that house lifestyle, you keep consuming all of this stuff, listening to the podcast, watching my YouTube channel, consuming all of my emails, but you're not moving your needle at all. I give away so much. I have so many things. Even if you're inside of my membership, it is my resource hub for everything that I have ever created. It lives in this beautiful space where you can go and consume and apply and all of it. But I have clients who are in my free membership who consume all of my things for free. And then they get to be coached by me and their needle actually moves. They sit inside of my membership for months thinking that if they just consume all of my content in there, all of my trainings in there, that they're going to move their needle. And sure, it does move. I'm not even going to lie and say you won't get shit from it, because you do. But whenever you actually decide to work one-on-one with me and join a proximity to me that you can't get in my membership, you cannot get from listening to my podcast, you cannot get from watching my videos or reading my emails, you get actual intimate access to me as your coach and mentor when you're in my space, and that is when your needle moves. And before I actually opened up my coaching container again to accept private clients, I was like, you know what? I'm already doing so much inside of my membership. I'm really creating incredible things for the women that are inside. I have over 120 members inside of my membership, but the few of the women that I've had conversations with in there who have decided to become my private clients, they truly are like, this is next level. Like I've already seen so many changes from applying like my abundance challenge that's in there or taking a part of my alignment resources and really the attracting model of becoming a magnet for your desires. They've applied it, they've seen things happen, but they're like the floodgates opened when I decided to have you as my mentor. And again, that's not coincidence. So hearing that feedback, having a few select people in my world and then saying, you know what, we got to open this full fledged to the people who are listening, especially you right now on the podcast. You're listening and you're like, fuck, do I not? I'm telling you right now, if you have the nudge inside of your chest or in your stomach to even ask what it looks like for you specifically to be inside of my world, ask, like, what are you doing? Why are you sitting around wasting time? The sooner that you decide to make an actual change, the more efficient your manifestations start to actually happen. The more you can start to live that lifestyle that you have been craving of not hustling your ass off to barely scrape by. As someone who has been there, as someone who has helped really honestly pulled women out of that and into the Restfully Rich framework, which I am teaching not only inside of Restfully Rich, but it's also a part of my framework that I teach my private clients. This is not something that you can consume anywhere else but inside of my paid proximity containers. And if you missed the call to join Restfully Rich, don't worry, we are opening spots back up here in the next several weeks. But until then, you can get into my space in my private coaching. I am opening up very limited spots here because my energy is precious, your energy is precious, and if I just take any and everybody who wants access to me, I simply cannot be that for everyone. So it is very precise and proximity based, and you don't just get in because you decide, right? Like we have to make sure that we are going to work well together, that I'm going to be the mentor for you, and you can't figure that out unless you apply using the link below. Okay. So that's the first housekeeping. Second housekeeping is we are collectively moving into a time where action is important. And I've talked about this before, but we are going to get very into the action piece because here's what's happening with high functioning, ambitious women who are, always in the action mode, and they are feeling the nudge to be more in the action mode. If you do that, if you go more action based, if you flood your system with more action steps, you're going to burn yourself out. You're going to burn yourself out. You're going to burn your empire down. You are not going to be able to efficiently and effectively move your needle the way that you want to, okay? Because the answer to all of your problems isn't more action, okay? It's aligned action. It's action that actually serves you versus the other way around. And when you are in a position to be in a season where action is more, required of you, if you're already someone who is high functioning and ambitious, that action can just end up being busy work and you having the wrong relationship with the action that you're taking. So the theme for the action based things, I'm not just pulling this out of my ass. I'm not just like rubbing a crystal ball and saying what's next for us. This is like true in energy work and somatic work and just the way that we are moving into a new era, into a new paradigm. And even if you aren't into or know much about astrology or human design or things like that, like just zoom out through the world at large. And we are moving very fast into a new era, into a new paradigm where yes, the manifestation piece of trusting and surrendering and allowing yourself to be provided for is still there, but we are entering into an era of enough is enough. Like enough of the visualizing, the writing down, the journaling, the getting clear, the all the stuff. Like now it's time for action. So is another reason why I'm opening up my private coaching container, because if you've been doing all the work but you haven't applied the action piece as far as truly moving your needle and being in the proximity of the person who's going to help you move that needle. Hi, hello, my name is Alyssa Simpson. If you haven't met me, I'm your girl. It needs to, like, this is why I'm opening up now versus however long ago, because we are shifting and moving so much quicker than honestly women like myself who are in this space are even prepared for, if I'm being totally honest. Things are happening so fast. And I know this sounds like super vague, but I'm specifically talking about just like the state of technology and like what AI is bringing to the stage and like all of these shifts and changes that are happening just with AI alone. And even saying just with AI feels so small, but like it's a large fucking thing. Like this is our generation's industrial revolution. Things massively shifted for the collective after the industrial revolution, and the same thing is happening with the rise of AI, but in a different way, because now we are being faced with the question of, okay, well, what is consciousness? And so it's allowing humans to really see the difference in us versus artificial intelligence, us versus all of those things that are in the wheelhouse of AI, because that is what sets humans apart, is we have a level of consciousness. And that's like a hot conversation is, well, what is it? What is consciousness? How can we achieve like the most elevated consciousness? And I will tell you right now, it goes back to knowing and truly understanding yourself. And this is going to be a little bit nuanced because this isn't something that I actively am coaching women on anymore, but it definitely was a foundational piece when I first started coaching. But because I've evolved, my clients have evolved, and the women that I work with moving forward also have evolved. So I'm not starting out at this base level mentorship anymore, but it is important for me to touch on. But you have got to get a very good sense of yourself. You have got to understand what makes you tick, what makes you move, what lights you up, what burns you out, what excites you, what fuels your own fire. What do you stand for? What do you fall for? What are you committed to in this lifetime? Because if you do not have a solid foundation of yourself, you are going to be one of the people who are swept away into the mass collective of blending yourself with artificial intelligence. It is what it is. Okay. I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. Um, I make my rules and you should make your rules. But I mean, I'm talking like in a collective way. And the reason I say that that's nuanced is because I'm not going to, it is so much more of a deeper topic that we can dive into, but that's not something that I teach anymore. If you want to hear more about it, go back way the fuck to the beginning of my podcast and listen to me talking about identity and awareness and all of those things, and you'll kind of get a better spiel, if you will, if that is kind of the season and the stage of life that you are in. I just simply am elevated, and that's just not things that I talk about anymore as much. But I definitely think that the whole conversation too about what I've hard earned is a hot topic right now, because a lot of people are feeling the tension of how quick you can accomplish something with AI tools, right? And so people are getting very, very triggered and saying like, well, I worked hard to do that. Like I earned that because of how hard I worked. And so they're having this existential crisis in their identity, because it's like, it's not fair that it took me 15 years to learn what someone can learn in a matter of moments by asking artificial intelligence. It's not fair. My whole identity is stripped because now I don't have this like thing connecting me to what it is I'm teaching or what it is that I've built. And so there's this level of doubt, I would say, or this level of like comparison, or I'm not good enough, or oh my gosh, like I'm better than you because I'm not using AI. Like I'm going the hard route to find this answer or to proofread this or whatever the fuck you use AI for, you know? Even me, like even me. I've told y'all I use AI. I specifically tell you how I'm using it right now. I am transcribing this entire podcast so that I can put it into my ChatGPT, and ChatGPT can spit me out a YouTube description, podcast show notes, and turn this into an email to get my email subscribers to watch this and listen to this episode when it comes out. That alone takes hours off of my day that I don't fucking have to do, right? Genius. Um, I also, so my husband, he has a saltwater fish tank. It's one of his hobbies. And for those of you that don't know, it is a very tedious and time consuming hobby. And it's not a very large one either. So you can't just like get one single answer by Googling it, right? You get normally, you'll have to go through all of these forums and all of these like Reddit pages. And then you're going to talk to people at the fish stores to see like what this type of weird algae is and how did you treat it or whatever. Literally, he takes pictures of shit and puts it into AI and he gets answers on an issue in his reef tank quick. Whereas before, because he's had his reef tank for a few years now, and before he would literally spend hours and trialing and erroring and troubleshooting like what could this potential thing be, or like why am I having issues with this, or like why is my water at this level and blah blah blah, you know. And so it's things like that that really do make it more efficient and make it easier for you to find an answer. But there's a balance here, because whenever you are anti AI, that's fine. Be anti AI. That's, I mean, to compare it to the Amish community, they're anti technology. They still ride horses into town. They don't have electricity. They don't have phones. They don't have AC. So, to compare AI to other technological advances that we have had, I'm comparing it to that, because you're either going to rock with it or you're not. And you're going to be the person who isn't maximizing your time in a way that you could. And for me, I am all about spending my precious short time here on earth being present with not only the people that I love, but also being present in my impact and my movement of creating a more restfully rich collective, because we don't have to work so goddamn hard. We don't have to stress ourselves out. We don't have to be spiking our fucking cortisol or living with burnout or any of this bullshit that we've been doing. And the more that we lean, and this is not me like advocating for AI to like use your whole fucking life for AI. I am just simply stating that if you are someone who's upset that AI is here and you have worked so hard to build this thing that AI can build in a matter of moments, I need you to truly disconnect from what it is that you have built, that you feel this like emotional tie to, and really ask yourself, like, why does it matter? Why does it matter if you spent decades learning something that now can be learned in a few moments? Why do you feel like that makes you any better or any less than? And this whole like hard work identity that you have, and even if it's not related to AI, if you have this identity of like, I worked hard, so I deserve that. I worked hard, so I should get this, bleh, whatever the fuck it is, you need to let that go, dude, because your timeline is false. Let's be so for real. Timelines are specific to each one of us, and you don't get gifted something because you've spent X amount of hours on it or because you've had blood, sweat, and tears pour into it. And there are so many women that I know who have these really incredibly financially great businesses and these financially great lives, but I have conversations with them and they are burnt the fuck out. And they truly and honestly spend more of their time tapped into this empire than actually living for a living. And a lot of the entrepreneurial talk is, well, I created my business so I could have time freedom, so I could have financial freedom. But you are working 26/7 more so than you worked at the company where you worked for Pete, the fucking CEO of this business, right? Yes, you have more money, but where is your time? Yes, you have more money, but when was the last time that you set your phone in another room and turned off your email on a whim and got to spend precious time with the people that you love, doing a hobby that you enjoy, learning a new fucking skill, baked a loaf of bread, made a home cooked meal, grew a vegetable, like I just don't understand why the the desire to show how much money you're making and to show this empire that you built is awesome, but it really isn't fucking awesome if you can't take a step away on a whim. That is not success to me. So, if you cannot truly turn off your business and your income generating thing for a week and it still not be financially great for you, you haven't built something sustainable. So the personality trait of I worked hard, I earned this, I'm successful because of how much blood, sweat, and tears went into this, but God, to take a break, it looks like pulling teeth, or oh my God, I don't feel comfortable finding another opportunity, or oh my gosh, if this ever goes away, I'm fucked. You haven't really built success then, now have you? But here's the good news. You get to live a wildly abundant, wildly wealthy, wildly successful life. And the way that you get to do so is by leaning into rest and trust and surrender and taking aligned action that doesn't just equal fucking busy work. When you allow yourself to be provided for and taken care of, that alone unlocks an entire new, different timeline for you. There are people in the world who are living restfully rich. Hi, I am fucking one of them. My clients are also multiple of them. We're not special. We're not doing anything different. We're just becoming something different. And you can either keep fighting against the change, you can move with the change, holding on to your sovereignty and learning how to operate from your actual innate gift, which is your feminine energy. Links are in the show notes for you to come get in my world, sister friend, because why haven't you already? Let's be so for real. And I will see you guys next week. Bye. I'm so grateful that you tuned in today. If this episode activated something in you, share it with a bestie who's also ready to become limitless. And don't forget to leave a review to help more people find this space. Wanting more? Get on my email list and subscribe to my YouTube channel for exclusive downloads, mindset shifts, and behind-the-scenes magic that I only share there. The link is in the show notes. Until next time, keep trusting the pull, honoring your energy, and manifesting your most abundant life.